You're no doubt familiar with Chat GPT, a cutting-edge AI developed by OpenAI, capable of understanding and generating coherent text. But did you know that Sam Altman, the CEO and co-founder of OpenAI, is also behind one of the weirdest crypto projects in the whole Web3 ecosystem? The name of this project? Worldcoin, a cryptocurrency which, according to its creators, provide universal access to the global economy, reinstate property rights, and create the largest financial network in the world. All this with a crypto distributed fairly to all humans on Earth without any distinction. How can you not be excited about such an altruistic project? But don't get hyped too soon. The Worldcoin crypto is also at the center of a more disturbing system, whose objective is to identify all human beings on Earth by scanning their iris. Perhaps in the future, you own nothing. You'll get your retina scanned and you'll be happy. Between artificial intelligence, crypto, science fiction, and widespread surveillance, hold on tight. We're taking you to the heart of Worldcoin, a project as fascinating as it is frightening. Worldcoin is an open protocol founded in 2019 by Alex Blania, Max Novenstern, and Sam Altman. If we believe their website, it's a system aiming to provide all humans on Earth with access to the global economy. In the long run, the goal is for this protocol to be completely decentralized, functioning solely through its users, akin to Bitcoin governance, really. Currently, Worldcoin is managed by the company TFH, short for Tools for Humanity. According to the British Economic Daily Financial Times, Sam Altman's startup is reportedly gearing up to conclude a $100 million funding round. The Worldcoin project is established on three main pillars. First, the Worldcoin token, which is simply a crypto that will serve as both a medium of exchange and a governance token for the protocol. Two, the World ID, a global digital identity proof. And thirdly, the World app, a sort of crypto wallet allowing the storage and exchange of Worldcoins as well as other digital assets. This app is already available on iOS and Android. One of the main challenges around this project is to give every person on Earth the ability to prove two things: that you're indeed a human being and you are unique. In short, the World ID aims to answer the need for human identification online, particularly in a world where AIs are becoming more and more sophisticated. As you figured out, Sam Altman is both the creator of some of the most advanced AI in the world, like Chat GPT, and of Worldcoin, which seeks to provide a solution to the emergency of this type of AI, which poses a significant problem in terms of digital identity. How will we know if you're talking to a real person or an AI? In fact, this is already the case today. You wouldn't know if this script was done by an AI, or if this voice is really even mine. But don't worry, it is me recording, for now at least. In short, Sam Altman proposed a solution to the problem he somewhat created himself. Smart move. At its launch in 2019, this project was rather low-key. We didn't hear much about it, but since the explosion of the use of Chat GPT 3, all of Sam Altman's other works are closely scrutinized. The Worldcoin project is therefore in the spotlight today. However, be careful not to confuse the two Worldcoins that already exist on the crypto market. In fact, the most OG among us might remember another cryptocurrency also named Worldcoin, with the symbol WDC, which was created in 2013. It was even part of the top altcoins at the time and had reached 7th place in terms of market cap in the crypto rankings in December 2013. In this video, we're discussing the crypto created by Sam Altman in 2019, also named Worldcoin, but the two projects have absolutely nothing in common, so just be careful not to confuse them. TFH's main thrust is the adoption of cryptocurrencies. They have observed that only a very small part of the population uses cryptos, and they would like to remedy this. In order to do this, they launched phase 1 of their World app in the beginning of May, now available worldwide. It's a wallet that's pretty standard. You can use it to store, send, and receive crypto. The focus is on the user experience. Everything is very simple to understand, and the use of the wallet is facilitated so that everyone can take ownership of it. I've tried it myself, and in fact, everything is simplified. You can easily log in with a mobile phone number and a password. Wallet backups can be automatically encrypted and stored on the cloud for easy recovery in case of loss. And you can easily manage, buy, and exchange a few crypto. For now, only wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped Ether, and the stablecoin DAI are available in the app. But in a few months, it should be possible to trade Worldcoin and USDC. The wallet is greatly geared towards the Ethereum ecosystem. It should eventually include the management of ERC20 and trading via Uniswap. The UX is really smooth, and it reminds me of PayPal, Lydia, or Twin for the Swiss, but a crypto version. And for those who are familiar, it looks a bit like Jack Mallers' Strike app, but with altcoins in addition. For now, you're probably thinking that this wallet isn't anything special, but wait, let me introduce you to this famous Worldcoin crypto. Remember, the goal of Alex Blania, Max Novenstern, and Sam Altman is a democratization of Web3. According to them, current cryptos are very poorly distributed among the global population, particularly in the poorest countries. So they came up with the idea of creating Worldcoin to make it the international medium of exchange for everyone. To do this, it must be accessible to anyone. So they concluded that every inhabitant of the planet deserved to be given some Worldcoin tokens. In 2020, they started a large distribution of their crypto. The principle is that each individual is entitled to a defined amount of Worldcoin, regardless of their origin and without any consideration. Beyond its fair distribution, the goal of this token is also to create a form of universal basic income for every human being. According to Sam Altman, this could also help compensate for future massive job losses related to the improvement of artificial intelligence. However, there was a problem to be solved in this equation: how to prevent people from claiming their Worldcoin donation multiple times and pretending to be several different people. In computing, this is called a Sybil attack. This problem is solved by the third main pillar of the Worldcoin project, the World ID. To benefit from the Worldcoin airdrop, you need this identification. It's a kind of digital ID card, certifying two things: that you are in fact a human, and two, you are in fact unique. The World ID therefore allows us to solve some of the problems related to the AI that could pretend to be humans, but it also allows us to solve the problems of Sybil attacks, where a human multiplies false identities in an attempt to gain some advantage. And that's where the most strange and worrying aspect of this project comes in: the orb. The Worldcoin teams have designed a biometric sensor capable of scanning a human's iris and making a unique code from it. In fact, this biometric data is one of the most accurate existing for identifying an individual. This orb looks like a chrome sphere the size of a soccer ball. Its futuristic design is absolutely not insignificant, and every detail has an inspiration. The spherical shape would suggest universal simplicity. The hole in the sphere is inspired by the mosaic of the Royal Theatre in Copenhagen. The inclination of the device is exactly 23.5 degrees, which is the same value as the obliquity of the ecliptic. That's to say the inclination of the Earth in relation to the orbit around the Sun. This unsettling design was cleverly crafted by the Swedish industrial designer Thomas Meyerhofer, a renowned figure in the field. He was the first employee of Jonathan Ive, the head of Apple product design from 1996 to 2019, affectionately known as Johnny by Steve Jobs. So, as you may have realized, to obtain a valid World ID, and therefore the share of your Worldcoins, you absolutely need to have your iris scanned by one of these orbs. Scary, right? This World ID is then stored locally on the World app wallet we discussed earlier. The initial goal is therefore to ensure a fair distribution of Worldcoin. But since this is an open system, the aim is that eventually any entities needing to verify an identity could use this protocol. The advantage of the World ID is that it allows its users to prove that they are in fact human and unique without having to give out any personal information. It's an anonymous proof that's been labeled proof of personhood. There are a number of applications for this type of technology in the world. One could imagine using it in the context of social networks to preserve people's anonymity while preventing the proliferation of bots. It could also be used for voting, whether in the context of DAOs or for elections. This could also be extremely useful for businesses, whether in the context of customer loyalty, online reviews, distribution of promotions, or free trials. You could even imagine its use for performing anonymous KYC. Ultimately, the World ID provides a solution to the problems of Sybil attacks of all kinds, which are characterized by the multiplication of fake identities. Of course, this type of technology raises concerns regarding the respect for users' privacy. Now be careful. Data related to the retinal scans is incredibly sensitive, as it's intrinsically linked to a person's identity. If mishandling or falling into the wrong hands, it could be used for a variety of malicious purposes, ranging from identity theft to widespread surveillance. Unlike other types of personal data, such as postal addresses, phone numbers, or passwords, biometric data cannot be changed. Once compromised, there's no way to reset them. In other words, if someone steals your iris scan, you obviously can't change your eye. The same goes for fingerprints, facial recognition, or voice recognition. We can also imagine that this data could be used by an authoritarian government in order to monitor individuals unbeknownst to them. TBH, the company behind the World ID protocol, fully realizes that privacy concerns are a big sticking point for people considering their product. Their website is chock full of sections highlighting their commitment to user confidentiality. But even with these reassurances, there's still room to question the idea of using retinal data for 8 billion people around the globe. It's really big to ask, and this hasn't gone unnoticed by some pretty heavy hitters in the privacy game. Take Edward Snowden, for example, a big name in privacy advocacy. He fired off a warning on Twitter about Worldcoin, saying in no uncertain terms, don't catalog eyeballs. Because of the skepticism surrounding the Worldcoin project, some have even questioned the legitimacy of Chat GPT, given that it's all coming from the same person, Sam Altman. Despite all these warnings, thousands of people have already had their irises scanned by the orb, almost 1.7 million to this day, in fact. Upon request, TFH sends out these farmed orbs to recruiters all over the world. These folks are then responsible for offering retinal scans in exchange for a handful of Worldcoin crypto. Recruiters also get paid in this token for each scan they facilitate. Most of the current recruiters are in South American, African, and South Asian countries. Western countries are generally more hesitant about this type of technology and often have stronger regulations in place. Beyond privacy concerns, there are also questions about data use consent. Since recruiters have a financial incentive to increase the number of retinal scans, and with no rules on how to proceed, this could potentially lead to misuse. Did individuals who've had their irises scanned today truly provide informed consent for their use of their biometric data? We're not quite sure. There's obviously a risk that this consent is more implied rather than explicitly given, or it might be hidden behind promises of returns. For now, the Worldcoins distributed are partially locked up in the World app. According to the media outlet, The Block, the Worldcoin cryptocurrency should be freely circulating by the end of 2023. One could speculate that it would quickly become available for sale on certain crypto exchanges. Originally, it was established on a dedicated Layer 2 protocol that used optimistic rollups on Ethereum. Basically, it's a quick and cost-effective L2 network that leans on Ethereum while benefiting from the security of the main blockchain. But since the gas fees were still too high, TBH chose to migrate the project to Polygon. Quite recently, especially after the implementation of EIP 4844, they announced plans to migrate the Worldcoin system back to the Optimism ecosystem. All in all, 10 billion Worldcoin tokens should be issued through the orb distribution mechanism. However, nearly 20% of these tokens have already been pre-minted for TBH, which is a considerable amount. Beyond the Worldcoin cryptocurrency itself, it's noteworthy that Sam Altman is introducing a solution for proof of personhood with World ID. The goal of World ID is to offer a system resistant to Sybil attacks. As we mentioned earlier, a Sybil attack is when a person creates multiple fake identities in the system to gain additional privileges. For instance, consider a presidential election. If you manage to show up at a voting booth multiple times and cast multiple valid ballots, you've just executed a Sybil attack. You've created fake identities to sway the election. In a centralized system, like a presidential election for example, Sybil attacks are prevented through identity verification of participants. These safeguards are currently established on the authority of a central entity. In our presidential election, for example, the government takes on this verifier role. In a decentralized system like Bitcoin or Ethereum, the goal is to eliminate the need for a central authority. Hence, it's currently impossible to establish resistance to Sybil attacks based on identity verification. Instead, Bitcoin uses proof of work and Ethereum uses proof of stake. Rather than establish a voting system based on the principle of one human equals one vote, it's based on the principle of one processor equals one vote in Bitcoin's case, and one ether equals one vote in Ethereum's case. And just for your info, this is what Satoshi Nakamoto calls the majority decision process. It's defined in Section 4 of the white paper. In essence, on Bitcoin, users must be able to agree on a single version of the blockchain. The protocol then specifies that the valid chain is the one with the greatest accumulated work. By mining on top of a certain block, the miners cast their vote for that specific chain. In the case of proof of stake, the vote is based on money. Both proof of work and proof of stake thus establish a significant marginal cost to vote duplication. To vote for a certain chain, you either have to consume electricity in Bitcoin's case, or stake money in Ethereum's case. That's what enables resistance to Sybil attacks without identity verification. In the peer-to-peer system, this resistance is established based on an objective measure. Research into proof of personhood, especially Worldcoin's World ID, attempts to introduce a form of subjective claims for voting in these decentralized systems. The goal is to bring the human element back into the heart of Sybil resistance, rather than basing it solely on resources. One thing's for sure, this Worldcoin project is as fascinating as it is disturbing. On one hand, you want to embrace the innovation and trust Sam Altman and his team. The World app is particularly user-friendly. The research around proof of personhood with World ID is really intriguing, and the values embodied by the Worldcoin crypto could appeal to some. On the other hand, this massive collection of human retinal data seems pretty dystopian and risky. As Ali Crypto says, it feels like the start of a Black Mirror episode. And for those who know the series, in the end, things never turn out too well. Even if TBH's intentions might not be malicious, it's conceivable that this massive biometric database could attract the attention of certain governments for widespread surveillance in the future. On a more individual level, we have to be careful with our biometric data, such as our irises. You can change your mailing address, your phone number, or your email, but you obviously can't change your eye. The widespread adoption of this type of protocol could eventually represent a serious assault on our fundamental right to privacy.